Hello and welcome to Hank Games Without Hank. My name is John Green. These are the Swindon Swoodilypoopers, and in a stunning turn of events, it's raining in England. Who would have thunk it? We have 19th century poet William Wordsworth starting for us today in midfield. We also, I'm going out on a limb here, and I'm starting Andy Rooney and Collins. I don't know. I figure we got a chance with him. I don't know. I had a feeling. I'm really trying to get Collins into the team. I said some bad things about him last year. It hurt his feelings. He's never really recovered. His morale is bad. His form isn't great. But like the kid has a ton of potential, and I want him to love being a Swoodilypooper. So I'm gonna give him a few more chances between now and the transfer window in January. And then if he doesn't like it here, he can let the door hit his butt on the way out. So that's, we're starting Leroy Williamson and Collins because I'm trying to mix up some striking partnerships to try to find what is the magic. You know, without Ball John Green, we've been, for lack of a better word, a little bit impotent up front. So we're going to work on that. Today I'm going to talk about Homeland, my favorite television program. This video is being recorded in the past, and of course the future is bright and full of possibility, but also full of potential terrible, terrible things. If any of those things have happened, I'm sorry about them. I'm very sad about the, I'm just going to make a guess here, the Canadian tornado. That was terrible. I wish that hadn't happened. That whole Canadian tornado fiasco just reminds us all to be grateful for every day that we do have. It's going to be so awful if something really happens, Meredith. Please make sure that nothing actually happens. Okay, Meredith's on it. She's going to be looking out for weather and any terrorist-related activities and make sure that nothing bad happens. Okay, so I like this TV show Homeland, but I also find it like troubling in some ways, which is what I want to talk about. So there's this show. If you haven't seen it, it's about a woman who works at the CIA, and she's extremely good at her job. And one of the reasons that she's extremely good at her job is that she has bipolar disorder, and a complicated relationship with a man who may or may not be a terrorist. Well, yeah. So that's no spoilers. There are no spoilers involved in that summary of Homeland. Oh, you got to get it down, James Collins. Oh, sweet holy Jesus. So it's a really compelling show. It is incredibly exciting. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, schmurg. We're going to have to do that thing. Martin Luther King scored for Birmingham City. I mean, he is the greatest civil rights leader ever, so it's hard to begrudge him this great moment. Still kind of pissed. God, who knew he would be so fast? Off the post and everything. We got to do that thing we do where we come from behind. But instead of doing it with other John Green, we've got to do it with Collins. So it's a really, really exciting show. It's like early seasons of 24, where it's one of those shows that you just want to watch like more or less constantly. You want to watch, like, I remember Sarah and I discovered it on like on demand or whatever, and we watched an entire season in like 3 very excited days. It's one of those shows. Because it's about, you know, terrorism and the CIA and stuff, and it really is. It's very well written. The dialogue is very strong, and then the performances, particularly by Mandy Patinkin and Claire Danes, are extremely good. Like, it's rare. It's rare that I've seen as complicated a character as Claire Danes' character on television. I think it's better than, like, significantly better than like anything in Mad Men or anything like that, which, to be fair, I've never liked. But yeah, so I think it's a really good TV show. However, it is, like a lot of TV shows these days, about violence and or terrorism, which seems to be sort of a national obsession with us these days. Nice run by Collins, nice run by Collins, nice run by Collins. Not the best ball. And the side effect of this, I think, is that it makes us feel it makes us feel that criminals and basically I would argue that most terrorists are criminals. They aren't. Oh gosh. Oh, that's a great block. They aren't primarily state actors or even particularly well-funded people. It's a fine line between what's terrorism and what's criminality. But I think a lot of them are just a lot of them are also sort of wrapped up in criminal enterprises, particularly the people who are said to be sort of Al Qaeda affiliated in Africa. So that's part of what troubles me, is that like it gives that this culture that we all live in now, where we're obsessed with Leroy Williamson, where we're obsessed with terrorism and violence and threats of violence in a disproportionate way, in a way that does not reflect the size of the actual threat to the social order. And I think, a television show like Homeland is inevitably going to sort of further that fascination / fear. And that like fear-driven, fear-based culture is what the news thrives on, but I think it's really, really bad for like our overall ability to like set policy, and then it ends up, that was almost a goal, resulting in all kinds of other things that are much more dangerous to the social order, like neglecting, really interesting but less sexy policy debates about healthcare and immigration and stuff like that. So that's my So that's my concern about Homeland, but it doesn't really affect my ability to enjoy the TV show that much. However, there are a few moments when watching Homeland when I'm like, come on, no criminal mastermind or terrorist or whatever is nearly this brilliant. The most notable being that there's this guy that everybody wants to catch, and he's like a stunning genius, like a Hannibal-level genius. And you see this all the time in TV shows about crime. There are, of course, famously many more murders every day on television than there are among actual living humans. But you see this all the time. They're like, oh, what an interception. That there's a huge kind of like gap between the reality of criminal and terrorist plotting and the way that we sort of imagine it. So, for example, you watch a show like CSI and you think like, man, criminals are brilliant, and then you watch a show like The First 48, which actually, which depicts actual police officers investigating actual murders, and you're like, man, criminals are stupid, because they'll be like, oh, there's a warrant out for my arrest. Where should I go? I know, my house. And it's the exact opposite of like what you would expect. Almost as if the people who commit crimes, by and large, are not sort of like well-educated people with excellent impulse control, but instead people who, end up doing things that in all likelihood they regret, or at least have sort of mixed feelings about. Oh, Collins! That's it. He's hurt. Well, that explains some things. All right, we're making wholesale changes. Actually, we're just making one change. We're bringing on John Green, and then we're bringing on, well, we are making wholesale changes. We're going to bring on Bostock, and do we have anybody else who's appropriate for the situation? I think, is there a situation for which Merrick is not appropriate? Well, actually, maybe we want to bring on Roberts, so we have somebody on the wing. Oh, I'm so bad at this game. But I think I just made my substitutions because I hit the wrong button. So that's how you know you're talented. Yeah, so like that, the difference between, I think that like furthers our fear, because we think like not only are there all of these criminals out there, all of these criminals out there are geniuses, and they wish to destroy us, and they have the capacity to do so, and they have the nerve, and they're evil. Well, one of the things I like about Homeland is that the villains in Homeland are portrayed as complicated people with complicated sort of experiences and feelings. And, you do see them, for both the sort of economic and political motivations for the radicalization of the people in the show. that said, you know, so it's certainly much more complex than any other TV show, I think, about that topic. But in the end, for me, it's still a little bit lacking. Like, there's still an element in it of, are you freaking kidding me? And that's, I don't know. Like, it does bug me to like the show that much, and at the same time feel like it isn't necessarily that helpful for the overall. Get it! Get it! Oh, a bunch of cowards failing to give their all for the ball. They're gonna get this. They're gonna get, that's a context is everything moment. They are gonna get yelled at when we are back in the locker room, because I think that showed a lack of courage. Yes, including by you, other John Green. I'm not afraid to tell you exactly what I think of your performance. I think you could have given more courage there. What the boys sometimes forget is that it isn't about money. Oh God, he's offside. It isn't about money ultimately, or anything else other than glory. We play in the pursuit of glory and honor. To honor the great city of Swindon, to honor the men we play with, to honor the men and women who work for the Swindon Town Swoodilypoopers, and most of all, to honor the support of our supporters. Get it, turn around, shoot the ball, and score! Other John Green showing his courage and showing us that he can robot. Now we got to get a goal in the last 8 minutes to win this game. I believe we can do it. And I believe, to quote R. Kelly, that we can fly today, friends. All right, come on. So yeah, I don't know if you guys have this complicated relationship with your favorite shows, if your favorite shows are kind of like crimey, investigatory, mystery novel-y shows, but that's my relationship with them. Get in the box, score the goal. Yes, we were fouled. We were fouled. That was very rude. It's a rude foul. What I want to do is I just want to have a nice safe pass, because I can't shoot from there and I don't know anything about this set pieces in this game. Leroy Williamson. Oh, too much of a first touch. All right, 88th minute. 88th minute. Lionel Richie with the ball. Lionel Richie with the cross. Lionel Richie. Oh, it could have been, but it wasn't. It could have been, but it wasn't. And again, I think partly for lack of courage. I don't want to be throwing anyone under the bus here, but I think if we'd really thrown ourselves at that cross, good things could have happened. There we go. Will we have one last chance? Probably not. Probably not. He who shall not be named takes... Oh, 1-1 draw. That scoreline is familiar. Best wishes.